Billy Butler turns 25 years old today, and he's one of the most experienced Royals on the Major League's youngest team. The youngest team last year was the Cleveland Indians, but they also have big-time veterans like Grady Sizemore and Shin-Soo Choo. They are in KC tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City. Nobody predicted this, but as we begin the fourth week of the Major League season, Kansas City is host to the top two teams in the American League Central Division. The Indians have the best record in the American League, and they begin a four-game series here tonight. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. I'm Ryan Lefebvre with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. And so, Frank, let me ask you the question that everyone seems to be asking me today. Is it too soon for this to be a big series?
I don't think so, Ryan. I think you really have to live in the moment. And the moment right now is playing for first place. When you look at these two teams, they're similar in a lot of areas. The only areas that may differ is that the Indians are hitting more home runs, but the Royals are stealing more bases.
Both are among the league leaders in batting average, runs scored. There's the home runs and stolen bases Frank was talking about. And both teams have gotten off to a very good start on the mound. Base running is hard to quantify. However, the Royals are thrilled with the way they've been running the bases. And when we come back, we will tell you why. Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. The Royals have really improved their base running early this season, and the Royals during the offseason went out and got a new base running coach, Doug Sisson, who says the improved base running has a lot to do with attitude.
Good base running starts by going hard out of the box. You've got to go hard out of the batter's box to get the extra base. Secondly, it's about prioritizing it. From the first day of spring training, we made it a priority. It's the first thing we do, first thing in the morning. Just like today, we're about to finish stretch. The first thing we're going to do is run bases before we pick up a bat or a ball. And in the player's mind, that makes it important. We're treating it as a fundamental part of the game instead of the drudgery of conditioning at the end of the day when you have to go run the bases and you're tired. So it's those two things. It's attitude, it's being aggressive, it's understanding that it's okay to make aggressive outs, and it's prioritizing and making it, it's every bit as important to us as hitting, defense, pitching.
The Royals in 2010 finished second in the league in hitting, but didn't score a lot of runs. The emphasis this spring was on base running, trying to take the extra base, trying to create more of a scoring opportunity, and so far this season, they've done that.
Here's the Cleveland Indians lineup tonight, presented by Southwest Airlines, and they got a big boost yesterday with Grady Sizemore making his season debut. He homered and doubled. Shin-Soo Choo and Carlos Santana are off to slow starts, but Travis Hafner's hitting .354 and has 4 home runs. They will be facing Kyle Davies tonight, who's coming off his first win of the year. He beat the Twins in Minnesota on Wednesday afternoon. It's the Royals and the Indians, and the first pitch is next. From Kauffman Stadium in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. We go out to right field and visit with Joe Goldberg.
Well, I had a different report to do, but now some guys are doing some groundskeeping, so to speak, out here. They're adding a French Quarter sign. They've just already gotten acknowledgement from Jeff Francoeur. All right, let's get down to business now. And Frank talked a little while ago about these two teams and the similarities they have. They have something else in common as well. The two 25-man rosters have a combined 6 players who have been traded for former Cy Young Award winners, and 4 of them at one point or another have come from Milwaukee. Of course, the Royals, Alcides Escobar and Jeremy Jeffress coming for Zach Greinke. On the Cleveland side, Michael Brantley came over in a CC Sabathia trade, same as well for Matt Laporta, and then in the Cliff Lee deal tonight, starter Carlos Carrasco as well as Lou Marson. So a lot of young players who have been traded, a lot in common, including former roommates Michael Brantley and Jeremy Jeffress. We'll talk more about that throughout the game. From the French Quarter, we go back upstairs to you guys.
All right. Thanks, Joel. That should be fun all summer long. And they picked the right guy to cheer for, because Jeff Francoeur certainly will acknowledge the fact that they exist out there and give them a salute, as they did tonight. So Kyle Davies making his 4th start. He has pitched 14 innings, so that only figures out to about 4 2/3 per start. Opponents batting .383 against him. He beat Minnesota on Wednesday, giving up 5 runs, 10 hits, and 5 innings. But the stat he was most happy with was 1 walk. Grady Sizemore, he played in only 33 games for the Indians last year after injuring his left knee, and then had surgery, and started this year on the disabled list. Returned to the Indians yesterday, and in his 2nd at bat, he hit a home run.
Well, when you get a standing ovation for coming back, then you get a home run, you get another standing ovation. So everybody's excited to have him back in the lineup.
Finished the day 2 out of 4, also had a double. And here is at bat number 2 yesterday.
Well, when you're coming back and you haven't played in a while, that makes you feel good. Oh boy.
He launches another one, but it is foul off to the right field side and well back into the seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I talked to Manny Acton before the game, and he said having Grady Sizemore back is just a breath of fresh air, not only for him but also for the team, because he's even though he wasn't playing, he's still well respected by his team, and he's a team leader. So everybody feels good having him back.
Struck him out with a fastball up. So a good start for Kyle Davies. It's a nice day in Kansas City today, but the temperature is dropping, and by the end of batting practice, people were putting jackets on. We're down to 57 degrees, starting at 7:11 tonight. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot at KCI. So 1 away to Asdrubal Cabrera, another Indian last year who fought a pretty severe injury. He broke his left forearm in a collision with then teammate Johnny Peralta, and played in just 97 games.
A very productive player when he's healthy.
Off to a .279 start, and is the Indians' number 2 hitter. He leads the league with 14 RBIs. In the air to the left side, Escobar is out. Alex Gordon gives way, and there are 2 down. Ram Trucks will show us the Royals defensively tonight. Wilson Betemeat will be at third base. Mike Aviles will be at second. So Chris Getz is out of the lineup tonight, and it's Matt Traynor back of the plate for Kyle Davies. Now the Indians have really stacked their lineup tonight. 7 of the 9 hitters are left-handed, and that is why.
Well, really big numbers on both sides. You know, he's really got to really work on spotting his pitches. I know he's really excited about the fact that he only had 1 walk, but throwing strikes means still you have to move the ball around and keep it out of center of the plate. So you don't want to give up the runs if you don't have to.
There's a good hard slider. 1 ball, 1 strike on Shin-Soo Choo.
I think Kyle goes to his cutter, and when his fastball command is not quite where he wants it, he seems to have a little bit more command of the cutter.
Davies can't run it down. Aviles tries to roll it to first. Royals will hustle to try and keep it out of the dugout. And that should be an infield single for Chu.
But Chu's not swinging it back well right now, Ryan. So he gets his ball back. Kyle Davies, he tips it with the end of his glove, but a very difficult play for him. And Mike comes up and really just does the best job he can on this. So right here, just the crowd's getting the different angle. They might make it close, but just with your weight coming forward like that, it's hard. You got to really aim the ball further behind you. He just was off balance and couldn't get it done.
And it does go down as an infield single, so a runner at first with 2 down. And Carlos Santana at the plate. Santana off to a slow start. He got a base hit yesterday against the Orioles, and that put an end to an 0 for 23. A little bit low for ball 1.
But they really like his bat. They really think he's going to hit as a catcher. He came up last year and was only there a couple months before he was injured. So with him and Sizemore both out, it really hurt their lineup.
And it was only a matter of time last year before the Indians called him up. Everybody in the game knew at some point Carlos Santana would take over behind the plate. But when he did come up, the Indians didn't hesitate to put him in the middle of the batting order, and he produced there until he injured his knee on a home plate collision at Boston and ended up blowing out his left knee. That was in early August. So the Indians hope he'll be the long-term solution behind the plate. The last long tenured catcher they had was Victor Martinez. He was also from Venezuela, and Santana grew up admiring him, and because of that wears Victor Martinez's old number with the Indians, number 41. Shin-Soo Choo is running. Trainer's throw hits the runner, but Aviles is right there, and Chu will stay at second base. That is his 3rd stolen base.
You know, if this throws on the mark, he probably gets Chu on this. Smith ball runs down the line, and you see Escobar tries to get down the line inside, but the ball got there before he did. But luckily the ball hit Chu and then it didn't go too far in the outfield.
That pitch fades away. 3 balls, 1 strike. The Royals think that at least from this side of the plate, and Santana's a switch hitter, that he will pull the ball. So you don't see this very often for a young hitter with a pretty limited scouting report, but a dramatic shift over to the right with Mike Aviles out in shallow right field.
Well, having Hafner following him, they'll have the same shift on again.
Get comfortable over there. Good late movement. So Santana gave up, but the pitch did not.
Well, that's what happens when you throw it at the belt, and it makes him give up, and the ball comes back over the inside corner. Anywhere any higher, he doesn't make that reaction. But if you throw it right at the belt, that's the move you're going to get.
Line to left center field. So Chu will score easily, and Santana digs into second base with a 2-out RBI double.
So this pitch here was definitely against the shift here. Everybody shifted around. Kyle leaves this fastball up, out over the plate. And Santana does a good job just shooting the gap there in left center field for a double. And you can see Chu comes around and scores easily on this ball. So when you play around to pull, you have to pitch to your defense.
And we get to another Indians player who has fought the injury bug. And for Travis Hafner, it's been 3 consecutive years. Problems with his right shoulder. His power has diminished over that stretch, but he's off to a very good start this year. Batting average is up, and he's hit 4 home runs.
Well, pretty identical, with Escobar a little bit more on the shortstop side for Hafner than he was for Santana. But you almost have to pitch into your defense. You go against your defense, and that's when big things happen.
One ball, one strike. Kyle faced the Indians 3 times last year and was 0-2. He is 3-5 in his career against Cleveland. And this will be the 3rd time that he is matched up with Indian starter Carlos Carrasco. There's that cut fastball that really tied up Hafner, didn't allow him to extend his arms. 1-2.
And Hafner usually has a good eye at the plate, so this is very late movement. This is like a straight fastball. Hafner commits, and the ball moves 6 inches inside, and he swings over it.
Same pitch. Hafner thought about it. 2-2. Hafner was first bothered by his right shoulder in 2008. Had surgery that offseason, and then on the DL in 2009 and last year because of the shoulder. And you can see why the Royals play him to pull. Almost all of his hits are either to center field or to right field. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So you say, well, why would you pitch him inside if he pulls the ball so well? Well, what the Royals are trying to do is they're trying to pitch him in off the plate.
And if he does hit it, it's going to go way foul. And I think that's what they want to do. That was a straight fastball there, a 4-seamer. He got him to chase the cutter, because the cutter got more of the plate, then came inside.
With 2 outs and nobody on, Shin-Soo Choo reached with an infield single. He couldn't have hit it any softer to the right side, but reached. Stole second, and Carlos Santana drove him in with a double. He struck out. The ball gets away from Trainer, and the throw to first is in time. So the inning is over, but the Indians take a 1-0 lead. In the top of the first inning, and now the Royals are coming up against Carlos Carrasco with this lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. Mike Aviles will be at second base tonight, and he will lead off, so Chris Getz begins the game on the bench. And with Aviles at second base, Wilson Betemeet will be at third. Facing 24-year-old Carlos Carrasco. This will be his 4th start. His ERA is up over 5. But he has given the Indians almost 7 innings per start. This will be his third career appearance against the Royals. He got his first major league win here at Kauffman Stadium back here on September the 17th. So he'll get Mike Aviles, Melky Cabrera, and Alex Gordon. Aviles drove in 4 runs in the just completed Seattle series, also at his third stolen base. Outside, ball 1. Last year, Aviles hit .359 against Cleveland. The year before, he hit .148. So they had his number in '09, and Aviles had a good feel for how the Indians were pitching him last year. 2-1. You know, there are so many games and so many at-bats, Frank. I mean, year to year, do you remember how well you did against certain teams, and does that carry into the next year?
Well, you really do. And when we were playing, they had the same starters for the most part all the time. But, yeah, you do remember the pitchers that do get you out on a regular basis as you're playing.
Out on a ground ball to short. And now we look at the Indians defensively tonight. In the outfield, Michael Brantley, Grady Sizemore, Shin-Soo Choo. Around the horn, Jack Hanahan, 2 Cabreras as Drubal and Orlando up the middle. Matt Laporta's at first. And Carlos Santana, who drove in the Indians' run, is behind the plate. The reason I bring that up is because that's one of the things that I keep track of when I'm looking back at what happened last year. You know, who for the Royals played well against the Indians and who really struggled against the Indians. And most of the time it fluctuates. One year maybe a guy like Aviles hit poorly in '09 but then was great the year after that, or the reverse is true. They had a great year one season and then they fall back the next.
Well, a lot of times it's one pitch. It's either the fastball or the breaking ball. You don't pick the ball up well on certain guys, and that hurts you a lot too. Then you make a correction at the next year, and whatever they were doing wrong, a lot of guys keep a little book and they write down how they've been pitched, and then they go back to the drawing board and try to make the correction. And then when the hitter makes the correction, now it's up to the pitcher to make another correction and try to keep that cycle going.
It's a game of cat and mouse.
That's pretty much what it boils down to. Now, if a guy's overpowering you, that's a different thing. But if it's a matter of just not hitting good pitches, then I think that's another story too, swinging that ball.
Here's tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers before Alex Gordon digs in. First in base hits, runs scored, second in doubles, and fourth with a .365 batting average. He also has the longest active hitting streak at 11 games, and that ties a career high for him. 5 hits, 4 runs scored, 4 driven in the series against Seattle.
You know, that's an interesting note on Indian starters. They haven't allowed a run in the first inning in the last 13 games. So they get, when you can get those first 3 outs and move on into the game, that's crucial to your defense and the offense.
And the starters have been great for the Indians since the first 2 games. They lost their first 2 games to the White Sox 15-10 and then 8-3. So they gave up 23 runs in the first 2 games. Now they've won 11 of their last 13 games. And over that stretch, their starters' ERA is under 2. And a good start for Carrasco. 2 ground balls and a strikeout. from coaching first base to lining up the outfield as we go to the second inning. He's also the subject of our fan video question of the night.
Hi, I'm Julie Seeley. I am from Lawson, Missouri, and I have a question for the Royals announcers. We are currently leading the league with stolen bases. What's the hardest part of stealing a base?
So, indirectly, the subject of our question tonight. But let's get your perspective, Frank.
Well, if I had to pick one thing, I would be just reading pitchers. You know, to get that good jump. That would be, in my opinion, the hardest thing. And the second thing would be if you don't have any speed.
Well, I've said this before, and I remember when I was a kid, and Ricky Henderson, you know, he had that year when he stole, 130 bases one year for the A's. And it just blew me away when someone shared with me that Ricky Henderson was not the fastest runner in the major leagues. I couldn't believe that. Tim Raines was leading the National League at the same time, and I just automatically thought if you're leading the league in stolen bases, you're the fastest guy on the planet. Now that might apply to Gerard Dyson, but then as I got older and learned more about the game, that it had as much to do with good jumps and intellect as it did with how fast you were.
And that's true. And Doug Sisson's a perfect guy for the Royals running game. I go back to when he was with the old Montreal Expos. They were always a very athletic team, and they stole bases. So he just kind of brought that right along with him here to Kansas City. So now he gets an opportunity to put it into work here on the major league level.
Kyle has a great cut fastball working tonight.
I tell you, that's going to be his bread and butter. When his fastball leaves him, he goes to that cutter, and I think you put that together with his curveball. And if both of them are snapping off the table like right there, he's going to have a pretty good night tonight.
So he struck out 3 already. The Indians getting a double with 2 outs from Carlos Santana in the first inning, scoring Shin-Soo Choo. Michael Brantley bats 7th. He had been leading off for the Indians until Grady Sizemore returned to the team yesterday, and he had been playing center field. So Brantley bats 7th and moves to position number 7. And now a curveball drops in for a strike.
And that gives him 2 center fielders in the outfield as we watch this curveball just drop right off the table.
Tried to get it through the back door. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tried to surprise him with a fastball. Brantley hits it hard and lines it to Melky Cabrera. 2 down. And now Matt Laporta, one of the players that Joel was talking about before the game started. All of the players here tonight that have been traded for former Cy Young winners. Nate Bukaty spent some time with Matt Laporta. You may have heard that during Royals Live. There's that cutter again. No balls, 1 strike. And we'll see what type of player Matt Laporta turns out to be, but at least to this point, I don't think Laporta or the Indians envisioned hitting 8th.
No, he's probably projected to be a middle of the order hitter.
One ball, 2 strikes. There was a game last year, and Matt Laporta had a great at-bat against Kyle Davies. It was a 13-pitch at-bat in the 8th inning. Davies was cruising along. Laporta just fouled off pitch after pitch. Ended up reaching, and the Indians scored 5 in the 8th inning to win. Laporta earlier in the game had made a critical error, which put the Indians behind. The importance of one at bat turning the game around, and Laporta had that. I don't even think that was a full swing here, and he singles to right field with 2 outs.
This is what's just called meeting the ball at the right time this pitch is away from him. He reached for it, couldn't swing all the way through it. And that's just all upper body check swing right there. That just shows you how strong you are at the point of contact. And then you just get your follow through and see the way the ball jumped off his bat. So that's one of those, excuse me, thank you. Now I can go out and try to have a real good night.
And now Jack Hanahan, who won the third base job for the Indians out of spring training as a non-roster player. A changeup, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, good movement on that changeup, down and away. He moved perfectly like it should against a lefty. I mean, it looks like it's right in the middle of the plate. Hanahan commits, and you see the run across the plate away from the bat.
For years, the Indians were waiting on Andy Marte, who was once a big prospect in the Braves organization. Traded to the Red Sox, traded to the Indians. Hanahan, originally drafted out of the world-renowned academic and athletic institution, the University of Minnesota. But you knew that, Frank.
When you said world-renowned, I knew where you were going.
You knew where that was going, huh?
I knew where that was going, yeah.
Royals have seen Hanahan with the Tigers, with the A's, with the Mariners, and now with the Indians. Left side, Betemit into foul ground and brings it down. A scoreless second inning for Kyle Davies. Second inning to surprise teams in the American League, the top 2 teams in the Central. So in tonight's Sprint You Call It, we ask you, who is the biggest surprise so far? Is it the Royals or is it the Indians? Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, a space, and then A or B. Standard text rates apply. Billy Butler turned 25 today. Coming off a very good series with the Mariners, 5 hits, also walked twice, and he drove in 3. It is also the same birthday for Miguel Cabrera, who's a few years older than Billy Butler, which I always thought would be a good guy for Billy to emulate as a hitter. If you'd like to enter the You Call It sweepstakes, when you get the bounce back text message from Sprint, check all the details on how you can enter, and you can win possibly a suite for you and 11 guests to a Royals game this year. Two and one.
I like your comparison between Cabrera and Billy. I mean, they're so similar. Cabrera's a little bigger and a little stronger at times in the right center field area, but their approach to hitting, their ability to stay in the zone a long time with their bat, it's unbelievable.
Both of them can hit for power. Cabrera more with home runs, Billy more with doubles, but both have the ability to be a 300 hitter with 2 strikes, drive the ball to the opposite field. And Billy will begin the second inning with a walk. Tomorrow night, game 2 at the Indians. First pitch at 7:10, and the first 10,000 fans will receive a Royals t-shirt presented by Farmland. This will be t-shirt number 2 out of 7 this year, so add to your collection. The Royals will be pitching Bruce Chen. Genmar Gomez will start for the Indians. Royals Major League Moments t-shirt. Ball one to Keila Kaihue. Keila just 2 out of 12 against the Mariners. He did reach 3 times with walks and scored 3 times, so it didn't do much for his batting average, but got on base, came around to score. Off speed, 1 ball, 1 strike. Talking about trades for former Cy Young winners, and Carlos Carrasco coming to the Indians in the trade that sent Cliff Lee to Philadelphia the first time he played for the Phillies. At the time, he was considered the number 2 prospect in the Phillies organization. Signed as a 16-year-old out of Venezuela back in '03, and then he was part of 3 no-hitters while he was in the minor leagues. At a play, 2-2. We showed you this during the Seattle series, with the question being how long will Felix Hernandez remain with the Mariners, and if they continue to play the way they are now for a long time, you wonder if it wouldn't be better for them. Hernandez, like Zach Greinke, signed to a long-term contract, so it wouldn't be a rent a player for a year situation. You'd be getting Felix Hernandez for a long period of time, but the recent trend, especially with these Cleveland Indians, as they traded Cy Young winners away the following year and back-to-back years.
Well, Ron, I agree with that. If you're not going to go out and get the players that you need to win, then you might as well move him and get young talent, young athletic talent to help the overall team itself. Because him pitching like he's pitching, like he did last year and this year, then sooner or later he's going to get tired of losing, and he's going to demand a trade at some point, and that's when you really have a problem. So I think you're better off to look to do something with him now, if you don't anticipate changing the team itself.
That's Carrasco's second strikeout, 1 down in the second inning. Well, in our Knights of the Royals roundtable discussion after the game on Saturday, I thought Denny brought up a good point. You know, how much longer can Felix Hernandez hang in there and take the lack of run support in the losing, where, you know, he's human? And at what point are you not getting the best of Felix Hernandez, because it's the same thing, start after start after start?
Well, the window is small. The window is small when you're on top of your game. And when you're on top of your game, you want to be a team player, but you also want to win. This is when you have to take advantage of it. And I think him moving to the right team gives him that advantage to be a champion. I think he's a championship type guy. He's a big game pitcher, and he should be in the big game.
1-1 on Jeff Francoeur. 5 hits in the Mariners series, including his second home run, 3 RBIs, and a 7-game hitting streak. Billy Butler with a leadoff walk, and then Carrasco struck out Tequila. 2 balls, 1 strike. Line to right field, and it's over Shin-Soo Choo. Billy Butler to third. He'll be held there. And Jeff Francoeur in with his 4th double of the year, and the Royals have 2 in scoring position.
You won't see a better piece of hitting than right here. This is 95-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle of the plate, and you see Jeff Francoeur comes right off the shoulder with that bat. Didn't loop it. If he loops his ball, his bat, he might foul it off. He stays right through the ball. He stays right down the line. If he does that, Ryan, all year, he's going to have a whole lot of success.
And a big moment of celebration in the French Quarter with the New Orleans Saints logo and the Royals logo. That's what that is, isn't it?
It looks like
the
it.
Saints logo. It's called the Fleur de Lis, which in French means fleur de lis. Wilson Betemit has a 9-game hitting streak. Francoeur just extended his to 8 in a row. Betemit only had 6 at-bats in the Seattle series, but in his first home run of the year, he drove in 3 runs. Last year, he drove in about 25% of his runs against the Indians. Just trying to get a ground ball and get a runner home. He is down no balls and 2 strikes. And he's been clutch for the Royals. Better than .450 with runners in scoring position.
Well, he's just becoming a better hitter as time goes on. He's been around long enough, knows how to approach these situations, but all the infielders are back. So all he's looking to do is hit a ground ball, preferably short, second, and first base.
Got him to chase the fastball up, but he drives it to left field. Brantley gets behind it. He'll play it to third, and Francoeur is safe. Butler scores, and the game is tied at 1.
And this is what I mean by getting on top of a fastball. He gets the ball and drives it to left field. Brantley makes a nice throw, and Francoeur just gets in underneath that tag. And that's why that guy on third base, when you're the first guy, you got to really bust across that plate. You can't take for granted what's going to go on behind you. But Wilson Betemit did an outstanding job getting on top of this high fastball.
That is not a so-called continuation play. So had Betemit been out and Butler had touched home plate, the run would have scored. However, if Francoeur was out at third and Butler had not touched home plate, the inning is over, no run. Matt Trainer 1 out of 7 in the Seattle series. That 1 hit was a home run. And once again, Carrasco's ahead. No balls, 2 strikes. That was the count on Betemit before the sacrifice fly.
Well, you see, yeah, Billy hadn't crossed home plate yet, so that would have definitely been one of those. My. Billy does a good job of looking back over his shoulder. He knew there was a play at third base. So you just can't take for granted. You got to get across that base as fast as you can.
That's line to left field, but Brantley is right there. So it was a noisy inning, and the Royals tied the game. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread, fresh baked bread, soup, salads, and sandwiches at Panera Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. By Chevy, see your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. And by Steel, are you ready for a steal? Are you ready for a McRae? Hi, B-Mac, good to see you.
What's up, guys?
Good to see you at the ballpark.
Good to be seen.
Here to tell us about how fans can see you and take some batting practice here at Kauffman Stadium.
Yeah, all the fans can't come out to fantasy camp, but they can come out to the ballpark and take batting practice with us and get as many swings as they want, take fly balls, ground balls, do all those kind of things. Grady's messing up our little deal here, swinging at the first pitch.
On the topic of hitting, by the way. So you've participated in one of these before, right?
Yeah.
So
done it a couple times, and basically what it is you come on out to the ballpark. You're going to take all the swings you want to take. You're going to take all the ground balls. You're going to tell some stories. Going to hang out with the fellas, and basically it's a full day at the ballpark where you get to kind of run around and do whatever you want to. You know, we're at your disposal. We'll throw you batting practice. We'll hit your ground balls, hit your fly balls, do basically whatever you want to do.
So it's a one-day fantasy camp, but you get to go home at night.
You get to go home at night, and you can ice at home.
That's about 8 to 12.
I think it was 8 to 12, 8 to 1 or so, and we'll have a little break for lunch. And best part of it is listen to Big John in the cages tell stories.
Which is always seems to be the case when you hear about fans going to something like this or fantasy camp, as Cabrera gets it through the right side. Sizemore will be held at third, coming back from knee surgery, and then of course you have Frank Coor's arm out in right field, so first and third and nobody out. But anyway, the fans are excited to get on the field with you guys and take batting practice, play in the games, but when they come back, it's the non-baseball stuff that they enjoy as much as anything else.
Yeah, and I think we get a kick out of it too, just being back on the field and being able to interact with the fans in a way that you don't get to do it much when you're playing. And you know, it's been a thing that some other teams have done a little bit in the past, and we've implemented it over the last couple of years. And everybody, all the alumni, we look forward to it, and we look forward to hanging out with the fans and having a good day at the ballpark.
Yeah, a good thing too, fans have an opportunity to share some of their stories, and I think that's just as much fun as us telling them stories, because they've all been somewhere that we've been, and they know where they were when certain things happened. So they're eager to share their stories with you too. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, right before the Royals turn a triple play in this inning, let's make sure we get all the details correct with the date and the telephone number to call and the times.
I know it's May 14th.
Okay, so there's the date. We got that out of the way. Frank threw out an 8 to noon.
Yeah, it's 8 to 12, I believe it is.
And it's 816-504-4150. You must be at least 25 years or older. Royals alumni batting practice. That's driven into center field and will be deep enough to get the run home. Melky makes the catch. Cabrera to second base, and he is gunned down. So the Indians regain the lead, but the Royals turn to double play. All right, Brian, former center fielder. What did Melky do well on that play?
He did a good job of getting behind that ball. A lot of center fielders or outfielders in general will just drift on the ball, not get their feet set to get ready to make a throw. And Cabrera tagging up on that. That was bad base running. Good job by Melky to get back on that ball. But you know, when you see that play in front of you, you don't have to go all the way. He could have gone halfway and come back and still kept him in the inning.
Yeah, especially when he catches the ball on the second base side of the bag in the outfield. It makes that throw a little bit easier. But you can tell when a guy has a good arm when the ball hit and skips like his did. And Mike did a good job getting down in the dirt and making that play.
Melky's done a lot better job in center field than I've ever seen him in his career. You know, I've seen him on the corners and seen him do a good job on the corners. But watching him the last couple of weeks play center field, I know he lost some weight and he did some different things this offseason. But he looks like a natural center fielder now.
Playing with a lot of energy, had that hustling double the other day on a bloop, and He was playing right field that day, and he ran over to the corner, almost threw a runner out at second base. Brendan Ryan, who had hit a double.
Yeah, the play made on Justin Smoke is get running against the wall in center field. Crashes into the wall. He wasn't afraid of the wall.
So 2 outs and nobody on. Carlos Santana drove in the first Cleveland run back in the first inning. Kyle strikes him out. B-Mac, thanks for dropping by.
Thank you, guys, and it's been a lot of fun to watch, and let's hope it continues for a while.
Okay, CB.
Warger has led the Northland Suburban Youth Football League for more than 30 years. And even though he has never had a son or daughter participate in the league, Steve continues to coach a 5th and 6th grade team, as well as oversee the entire, this will be a surprise, Team Jets program. Now, what would lead you to believe that he leads the Team Jets program?
No, let me see. Joe Namath sitting beside him.
It's the first thing I thought of. That's some old school Jets there.
Yeah, that is.
So he's sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game as the Indians lead the Royals 2-1 in the bottom of the third with 2 strikes on Alcides Escobar. Let's check in with Joel Goldberg.
With Alcides at the plate, guys, and I was talking about all the relationships, former Brewers, guys being traded for Cy Young Awards, or future former Cy Young Award winners. Alcides Escobar is a former minor league teammate of Michael Brantley's, and Brantley says that, you know, Escobar, he's young, the bat is going to come around, but he was not at all surprised to hear that Escobar has been a highlight reel himself every single night. Brantley saying that Escobar is the best shortstop that he ever played with in the minors. Might have, he thinks, the best arm in all of Major League Baseball. We were raving about the play he made on Ichiro the other day. Orlando Cabrera jumped in and was absolutely shocked because he saw that play as well. But the best story that I heard, as Escobar is going to ground out here, looks like to second base, was Brantley talking about a Double-A game where they had a bet with Alcides. They were in Tennessee, and he said somebody bet Alcides that he couldn't throw a ball from home plate over the center field wall. So with one step, Brantley says he threw the ball from home all the way over 405 feet center field. Now, I asked Alcides about that. He said, no, I hit the wall. I didn't get it over, but I did throw it over the left field wall. So somebody might be exaggerating. Somebody might be a little bit off, but I think that we know that he's got an unbelievable arm, guys.
Wow. One step from home plate and throwing it off the wall 405 feet away from home plate.
You would say you're lucky you still have an arm.
Man.
Yeah, you wouldn't promote that every day to come out and make a throw like that.
Avilas grounded out to short his first time. back in the leadoff spot where he was expected to spend a lot of time this year, and then after falling into a slump, Chris Getz had a long stretch as the Royals leadoff hitter. Aviles on Wednesday afternoon in Minnesota putting an end to an 0 for 18, and in that same game had 2 doubles and 3 RBIs, and then added 4 RBIs during the Seattle series. Only Jeff Francoeur and Alex Gordon have driven in more runs than Aviles, and he just made contact with that pitch to stay alive.
Now, Mike usually does pretty good when he lays out that slider down and away. That's the one pitch that gives him trouble. But anything up out over the plate, he can really drive the ball to right field, straightaway center, and left field.
And he really has to be a good fastball hitter to stand up in the box like he does. I mean, because he's reducing his reaction time. He
really is, and but I think he's up in the box for the breaking ball and try to catch it before it breaks. But he's just one of those guys. Even when I had him in Double-A, anytime the fastball is elevated, he seems to be right on time for it.
The trademark Aviles twirl, and with the hands up, will help him get to the high pitch. That pitch may have been a little too high. Shin-Soo Choo comes sprinting in because the wind is blowing in, and he makes the play. The hitter is really going to have to get into one tonight to hit it out to right field or center field, as the wind is coming in out of the east-northeast, so basically straight in from right center field.
Well, you're right now was a little up. He didn't get quite on top of this 95-mile-an-hour fastball. But he's just the kind of guy that the pitch you think he won't be able to hit up high, he's right there on it. He'll surprise you with that pitch, especially if it's middle in.
Melky grounded out to third his first time, so just 1 out of 9 now on the homestand. On the ground to Orlando Cabrera, and it's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Carrasco. Speed pitch comparison. Carlos Carrasco at 96, Kyle Davies up to 94. Now fast is even faster. Double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo. Kyle will get Travis Hafner, Orlando Cabrera, and Michael Brantley here in the top of the 4th inning. A strike to Hafner, and Kyle really pounded him in on the hands in the 1st inning. Fastballs, cut fastballs, and then struck him out with a curveball down and in. Kyle has struck out 4. And there's 2 pitches out over the plate, so maybe the effects of his last at bat. I mean, 2 hittable pitches, and after doesn't take the bat off of his shoulder.
Well, the first one being a changeup, doesn't surprise me he didn't swing it that one, but the fastball, the second pitch, and he's really aware of that breaking ball coming down around his knee off the plate, the one he swung over to strike out, so that's probably where they're going to go.
Back in there again and strikes him out on 3 pitches. There's a case of a hitter going to the plate and just having no idea what the pitcher is going to do with him.
Well, you're right, Ryan. He threw so many pitches in on him last time. He's so aware of the ball inside, but he's one of those guys that usually has a good eye. He doesn't chase a lot of bad pitches, so Kyle really established what he wanted to do, and those first 2 strikes really put him in a hole.
Cabrera almost comes out of his shoes with that swing, and Kyle struck him out with the cut fastball in the second inning.
Yeah, he will swing like that. He usually has a pretty good idea of what he wants to do as a hitter.
One ball, 1 strike. No walks so far for Kyle. And his line against the Twins on Wednesday, a lot of runs, a lot of hits, only 5 innings, but only 1 walk. And it was interesting afterward, he said something to the effect of he didn't care. Of course he did, but he didn't care how many hits he gave up to the Twins, but he was not going to give them a lot of base runners by way of a walk. So that might have been the silver lining in an otherwise unimpressive line.
Right. I mean, I agree with you on that. I mean, he does have good breaking ball right here. I mean, that cutter's really been a good pitch for him, but you want to give up hits. I think you're right. He don't want to give up as many hits as he wants, but you want to give up quality hits at the right time. But at the same time, you have to be able to move your pitches around and let him hit the pitch you want to hit.
Coming up on Wednesday, it's the next Inc. student night. $7 with a valid high school or college ID. Plus, you can get a hot dog and a beverage for just $7. This Wednesday is also Inc. Local Music Showcase with support from 96.5 The Buzz, featuring a live pregame concert from Scratch Track. Gates will open at 5:30. The game is at 7:10. Michael Brantley with another bullet to the outfield and 1 hop to Jeff Francoeur. In the second inning, he lined to center field. So he's had a pretty good line on Kyle Davies tonight. He's 1 for 2.
He just hasn't let Kyle get away with anything up. He tried to sneak the fastball in on him last time up, and he got the bat hit to it, and there he goes inside again and base hit to right.
Now a strike on Matt Laporta, who had a half swing single to right his first time up. This is the 3rd time in 4 innings. And Kyle Davies has retired the first 2 hitters and then given up a base hit. Though still doesn't have a 1-2-3 inning yet. In the first, the Indians turned that into a run. Shin-Soo Choo singled. Carlos Santana doubled him home. Royals tied the game in the second inning on Wilson Betemeat's sac fly. And then the Indians regained the lead in the third on Shin-Soo Choo's sacrifice fly. Matt Laporta just trying to fit in like everyone else, but he will always have hanging over his head former first-round pick and traded for CC Sabathia. Where was that pitch? 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, it looked pretty good from where we're sitting. You can see where Laporta gave up on this pitch. It was started it out on the inside part of the plate, and he gave up on it, and the ball clearly went back over the plate.
Brantley runs, and no throw from Trainer. Either he didn't think he had a shot or he didn't get the grip that he wanted. So Brantley swipes his third, and the Indians have 2 stolen bases tonight.
But he gets a real good jump to start with here. He's already 4 steps into it before Kyle gets his leg up, and now that was an easy steal for Brantley at second base. But it's a possibility that Trainer didn't get a good grip on that throw.
And a breaking ball stayed up, And Alex runs into left center field and retires Matt Laporta. So we go to the bottom of the fourth. Cleveland leads 2-1. Tonight's game summary: 2-1 Cleveland. Carlos Santana doubled in Shin-Soo Choo in the top of the first inning. Wilson Betemit picked up his 9th RBI of the year, getting Billy Butler to the plate in the bottom of the second. And then in the third, another sacrifice fly double play. Runner out at second base, but Brady Sizemore scoring to give Cleveland a 2-1 lead, and that's our score to the bottom of the fourth. Alex Gordon, Billy Butler, and Keila Kaihue coming up against Carlos Carrasco. Royals with 1 run, 1 hit. Carrasco has walked 1. He has a couple of strikeouts, including 1 against Alex in the bottom of the first inning. Alex hasn't seen a lot of Carlos Carrasco, but he hasn't liked what he has seen. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Carrasco got a lot of movement on his fastball, and he got that cutter also.
Alex at 365 when the game started, 4th best in the American League. Two and two. Good movement there. Just disappeared under Alex's bat.
And I think that's the one pitch that right-handers love to throw to left-handers, but they got to get it in the right spot because it looks so good to a left-hander. They had an automatic trigger on that ball down anyway, and then when it goes to that back leg slider is what they call it. Then they have a hard time with that pitch.
Now Alex is 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts against Carrasco, and that's Carrasco's 3rd tonight. Tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. 78% think that the Royals are a bigger surprise. Keep texting at 432-432, keyword Royals. A space, A for the Royals, B for the Indians. The Indians have the best record in the American League at 11-4, and 1 game in front of the Royals at 10-5. Billy lines it into right center. So on his 25th birthday, Billy has been on base twice. He walked and scored in the second, and now a 1-out single in the 4th.
And what makes Billy real special, right, is he doesn't try to do too much. He just hits the ball where it's pitched, and that's what he does right there. Ball's center of the plate. Some guys pull that pitch, some guys drive that ball to center field. He just takes it, stays inside and let it travel deep, and hits the line drive to right field.
Fouled away by Keela. He was a strikeout victim of Carrasco's in the second inning.
That's a nice you call it we got tonight, because I think both teams are surprised. I would give them both 50-50 on the surprise thing, but I think that in the season you got to live in the moment. And I think that right now with both teams on top like this, the fans just need to live for what it is right now. You know, a lot of people project what it's going to be like at the All-Star break, what it's going to be like at the end of the year. But you can do that with any team. But it's those moments during the season where you can get excited about your ball club, and I think this is one of those moments for Kansas City right now.
There's no benefit of having the mindset that this is not an important series. I mean, sure, you can take it too far and say that, hey, these are two teams that could win the division and this is a do or die series, but you don't want to take it too lightly. And I think in the big picture, Ned Yost wants his team to treat every game. Manny acted the same. Treat every game as if it's a big game.
And it should be. And I think that you have to watch your team when your team is playing well. And I think you appreciate it a lot better. And I think that's what both managers are saying. Hey, we're picked to finish probably on the bottom. But we're not on the bottom right now. We're playing this series for first place, which is fun. You know, everybody's playing well. Everybody's off to a good start. Some guys are achieving that weren't achieving last year. So come and see the guys when they're playing well. And then who knows? If they believe enough and they keep doing, they stay healthy, it could go a long time.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Keela. For me, the best series, the most important series for the Royals so far, was taking 3 out of 4 from Seattle and not taking them lightly after having 4 series to begin the season against teams that were supposed to contend. Keela reaching, and with his strength drives it almost to the warning track. So he is 0 for 2, and Butler returns to first base.
Well, I agree with that all the way, Ryan. I think that you have to play above your competition all the time, and not who you're playing. It's a game to be played. We're going to try to win the game. And I think that's the message that Ned Yost has been putting out to his guys. I'm sure that Manny Actor's been saying the same thing to his guys. Hey, we don't care who we're playing. As long as we believe in what we're doing and we go out there and put in 100% and we hustle and do the things we need to do, who knows what's going to happen in this game. You got to play it. You know, Baltimore, look how they started. And now they've turned around and lost 7, 8 in a row. And that's what you don't want. You don't want that 7, 8 game winning streak, then turn right around and lose 6, 7 games. That's when there's no gain at all there.
Francoeur thought that pitch was a little high. He doubled to right field in the second inning, and now Francoeur has an 8-game hitting streak.
That pitch might have been high, but I mean, that's a hittable pitch right there. It probably wasn't the pitch he was looking for, but I've seen that pitch get hit a long way when you're looking for.
And if he does hit it a long way, we're talking about what a mistake Carrasco made.
Yes.
So we don't know Francoeur, as we get to know his personality, if he was arguing with Paul Schreiber or if he was saying, man, why didn't I swing at that pitch? Still 0-2.
And Francoeur is one of those guys that if we ever see him down this year in a bad mood, that's going to be rare, because he picks you up every time you see him. He's always smiling, always got something positive to say. Just a good guy to see every day.
That pitch stayed up and he fouled it away. I had a talk with him a week or so ago, and Kyle Davies was pitching as he is tonight, and I talked to him about growing up in Atlanta and playing for the Braves and the pressure that comes with that. I mean, it sounds like a dream for any kid, but there's another side to what Kyle Davies and Jeff Francoeur had to deal with playing at home. Broken bat, and Brantley makes a play in left field. So the Royals get 1 hit but no runs in the 4th. scenes up here in the Royals Broadcast Center. This would be the enduring the elements portion of the broadcast booth where yours truly calls the game. And then this would be the climate controlled portion of the broadcast booth where the 8-time Gold Glover calls the game. Your thoughts?
My thoughts is when you don't want to catch a cold, so you just protect yourself. you know, something that comes with youth is invincibility.
Now, I'm not as old as you are, but oh yeah, okay. Then I do busted. There's the heater that's on my side over here.
Who has the heater?
That's a good point. Okay. Sometimes you just have to, you have to admit when you're busted. And I'm busted. Good night, everybody. Grady Sizemore, 1 for 3 after a ground out to Mike Aviles. You take that back. That was Jack Hanahan, who was 0 for 2. And now Grady Sizemore, and since he's come back, is 3 out of 6, all extra base hits. A home run and a double yesterday against the Orioles, and now a double and a run scored tonight. And he just missed hitting a home run in his first at bat. He ended up striking out, but just hooked one outside the right field foul pole. It was Sizemore's first home run since August of 2009 when he homered yesterday. Last year was the second straight year that he had an injury that required surgery. Last year it was the left knee, only was able to play in 33 games. The year before it was the left elbow. He played in 106 games, and his season was cut short after surgery on that. Davies has a great curveball. That's his 6th strikeout, and the second time he has struck out Sizemore.
That's the pitch we talked about, right-hander to a left-hander. Ball goes down and into a left-hander. It looks like a good pitch to hit when he swings, but with the depth of the breaking ball, it goes underneath the bat, and Sizemore swings over the top.
No walks. So now in his last 9 1/3 innings, Davies has walked 1. Cabrera 1 for 2 with a 3rd inning single, and then tried to tag from first and advance to second on a sac fly and was thrown out at second base. Got the corner, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the curve, and Cabrera just got a piece of it.
And when you're working the inside of the plate like Kyle is to these left-handed hitters, when you do go away, sometimes you can get the umpire to go right with you, especially if you're throwing strikes on the inner half.
Two strikeouts. He gets the Indians in order, and Kyle has struck out 7. far tonight, trying to extend his hitting streak to a new career high, which would be 12. That leads us into tonight's AT&T trivia question. Who has the longest hit streak ever by a Royals outfielder?
I'm going to say Willie Wilson.
A strike to Wilson Betemeet. He has driven in the Royals run tonight, his 9th, with a second inning sacrifice fly.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to say Brian McRae.
I'm going to switch too, because I heard somebody say in the house.
Now, you could call it cheating.
Uh-oh.
Or you could call it just paying attention. Up the left field line. Brantley to the line, and it is out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, Doc, our stage manager, reminded me that you start in the house first, which is what you always say.
Yep.
And after rubbing elbows with Brian a little bit ago, I figured he's in the house.
That's in the house. Now, the point that I was getting to was I didn't cheat. I didn't look on anyone else's paper. I didn't hear anything. But when Brian was in the booth and he and Kevin Schenk were talking to make sure he had the headset on right, Brian went, "Oh, is that right? What year was that?" "Oh, I remember that."
So you was eavesdropping.
I'm just taking those as clues. I could be wrong. But I think it was McRae in the library with a candlestick. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Betemeet has a long hitting streak. He is at 9 and batting at .371. He had 43 RBIs last year altogether, which was a career high, and 11 of those were against the Indians. And now he has 1 in the first game between the Royals and the Indians this year. Still 3-2. Matt Trainer is on deck, and then Alcides Escobar.
Well, after the way he finished last season and what he's done so far this season, you almost have to say that what we're seeing out of him is real. I mean, maybe the average is a little higher than you would normally see, but as far as just putting quality at bats together to this point, he's done a pretty good job of that.
So, who has the longest hit streak ever by a Royals outfielder? 22 in 1991. Now, Kevin tells me that he even said the number 22 when he was up here in the booth. I did not hear that. Trainer trying to surprise the Indians by laying down a bunt, but Jack Hanahan, who's a good defensive third baseman, comes in to throw him out. So Trainer lined to the outfield first time up and then tried to lay one down.
But that's what you try to do. Anything you can do to try to get something going here. And Matt Trainer thought maybe he could surprise the Indians with a bunt. And sometimes that'll open up the doors, the floodgates for some hits following. But Hanahan made a nice play on that bunt.
And now Escobar showing bunt. He grounded out to second base in the 3rd inning.
When I talked to Escobar, I said, "Who did you learn how to play shortstop from?" And I won't be able to get this in until next time we hit.
Oh, but we'll be hanging on the edge of our seats, Frank. Davies is down by 1 run, but in 5 innings he has struck out 7, which is a season high by 3. Struck out 2 in the 5th inning. His first 1-2-3 inning. Curveball there to Grady Sizemore, and then a fastball to get Asdrubal Cabrera. Still bouncing back nicely after his start against Minnesota, which was a win, but he allowed 5 runs, 10 hits in 5 innings, and no walks. And there's the curveball for a strike to Shin-Soo Choo, who has scored one of the runs, and he has driven in one of the runs. Lifted to left field, and it takes Alex back to the front of the warning track, and then on the warning track. 1 down in the 6th. Come on out to Kauffman Stadium on Thursday, the final game of this series with the Indians. Fans, you can purchase all-you-can-eat seats. That's all-you-can-eat food, not the seats. Located in the Loge level, which include unlimited ballpark fare, all the hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, pretzels, and Pepsi products you can handle for one low price. There are individual ticket deals and group discount tickets available. 1-800-6-ROYALS for details. I've never thought of Kyle Davies as a slow working pitcher, but every now and then when he's feeling it like he is tonight, I mean, he is just rapid fire. And he has really picked up his tempo in the last 3 innings. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Carlos Santana. So he's just getting the ball back from Trainer, and he's not getting any further than about an inch or 2 from the rubber, and he's right back to work.
You're right, Ryan. You don't see a lot of hitters today try to break the pitcher's timing. Usually when a guy gets in a routine like Kyle is right now, the hitter will let him start. He'll step out a little bit, try to break that rhythm of the pitcher. But today's hitters, they just hang in there and just kind of let them keep going the way they're going. So it's kind of like playing the game. But like right now, all of his pitches are working. And this is when Kyle Davies is at his best. And we never had any doubt about his stuff. It's a matter of whether he's going to command it or not.
Escobar was playing behind the bag. He has to go back to his right, and he throws out Santana. So anyway, Frank, you were saying Alcides Escobar learned shortstop from?
Well, actually he learned it from his uncle. His uncle was Jose Escobar, who made it to the major leagues with the Cleveland Indians at 31 years old. He played 10 games in the big leagues. He was 3 for 15, and he's from La Sabana, Venezuela. And he had 1 RBI, but he wasn't a big guy. He was only 5'10", 140 pounds. So you can kind of see where the slenderness of Escobar comes from. But he said he learned everything else from watching Omar Vizquel.
Exhaustive research, Frank White, with the help of associate producer Al Broughton.
Yeah, now can you imagine getting to the major league at 31 years old?
31-year-old rookie, 1 RBI. Hey, he's in the baseball encyclopedia forever. Travis Hafner has been all mixed up tonight against Kyle Davies. 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. And then hits a line drive into left center field. Alex trying to chase it down deep. So Hafner makes the adjustment in this at bat. He goes to left center, and that is his 3rd double.
You know, as a hitter, you love to hit balls like this. He just tracks his fastball right away. Ball starts to move away from him. He didn't try to pull it. He just stayed right through it. And as a hitter, you love to hit a ball just like that. A line drive over shortstop that goes all the way to the wall. Because you know you did everything right for that ball to split the outfielders like that.
So now for the 4th time in 6 innings with 2 outs and nobody on, the Indians get a hit. And Orlando Cabrera is almost hit. 0 for 2 tonight. The Royals saw him last year with the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati was the surprise team last year in the National League, winning the Central Division, and then were bumped out in the 1st round by the Phillies. One hop to Bettamy. Cabrera is out, and so are the Indians.
Bottom of the 6th, and this is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Janice Finley from Kansas City, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Janice will win $1,600. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Janice will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
And Janice, you have the top of the order with Mike Aviles, Melky Cabrera, Alex Gordon. After that, Billy Butler. Mike is grounded out to short, flied out to right. Going down and getting it, and it's going to drop in front of Brantley. So Aviles is 1 for 3, and the Royals have the tying runner at first.
I was talking about moving up in the box, Ryan. This ball is on the inner half here, and he just goes down and does a good job of just pulling this ball. It goes away from him. He tries to catch it before it breaks, and that's why he stands up in the box right there.
0-1 to Melky Cabrera with the ground out to third and a ground out to second base tonight, and just 1 for 10 on the homestand.
The swing looked just a little bit long right there, almost like he's trying to overswing rather than stay with that nice short swing where he was driving the ball to left center field right back through the middle. So just watch his right shoulder and his back shoulder, and the swing just kind of goes straight. I'm sorry, this is Aviles. I'm sorry. Aviles does a good job of going down. Good extension. Base at the left.
Aviles has 3 stolen bases and as a pinch runner yesterday in the 9th inning after Wilson Bettamy drove in a run. Aviles came on and as a pinch runner stole second base. The Royals had the tying run at second base with 2 outs, but the Mariners got out of it. Sliced up the line with Aviles running, and it's down into the corner. Aviles coming around third, and Melky Cabrera ties the game.
When you got a pitcher that's really on, this is the best way to try to do it. Is get the game open, is hit a hit and run. Cabrera does a good job of staying inside of this ball and getting it down the line. You can see Aviles running on the play, scores easily from first base. So that's not unusual when you have a pitcher, Ryan, that's really holding the game down. He's in rhythm. He's not giving up anything. So you put on a hit and run, try to open things up. And that's what Ned Yost did right there.
And now Alex extends his hitting streak. Here comes Melky around third. It's bobbled by Sizemore in center. Royals lead for the first time tonight. That is RBI number 12 and a team leading 12 for Alex Gordon.
Carrasco gets his ball out over the plate, and Alex does a good job just staying with it. Drives his ball back into center field. Sizemore bobbles his ball, but probably had no play on Cabrera. You can see him going around. He turned that base really short, and almost a little too short, but he scored easily.
That's a career high 12-game hitting streak for Alex Gordon. Carrasco had retired 11 of 12 going into this inning. And the Royals greet him in the sixth with 3 consecutive hits and take the lead. Carrasco has got a visit from pitching coach Tim Belcher, former Royal. So Billy Butler comes to the plate with a runner at first and nobody out. And Billy drives it into center field. 7 pitches, 4 consecutive hits. And now that a pitch has been thrown, Frank, do you think Melky touched third base?
Near miss. They get a good look at it here.
Yeah, it looked like he got the corner. But it was close.
It was real close. The third base coach has got to watch that, and if he does miss, he's got to figure out how to get him back. But Dan Yost put that hit and run on, and Malcolm Cabrera hit a double, and it just kind of changed the attitude of Carrasco on the mound. He made some mistakes out over the plate, and the Royals have made him pay for it.
And now everybody is swinging on first pitch against Carrasco. Mike Avila swung at the second pitch and singled. Melky Cabrera the third pitch and doubled. And now Alex Gordon, first pitch single. Billy Butler, first pitch single. Kila Kaihue, first pitch foul ball. So maybe that's the adjustment for the Royals, third time to the batting order. Now Kila's going to try and lay down a bunt. No balls, 2 strikes.
And that's really not a bad play for him if he can get it down. I mean, you got a chance to break the game open. You get 2 more guys in scoring position. You're not swinging the bat well. So that's really a way to help your ball club.
In case you're wondering, and I know you are, Kila has 1 sacrifice bunt in the big leagues. He does have 17 in the minor leagues. That's over a long minor league career, but he is familiar with having to lay one down from time to time. Well, it's the corner, 1-2.
Well, Ned Yost, you know, they work just hours on bunting in spring training, not just specific guys, but everybody, because he feels like everybody should be able to bunt in a key situation where the game's on the line.
Royals had shortstop Cabrera out of position. Hanahan into foul ground, makes the catch. Kila is 0 for 3. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is T.J. McGinnis. So 2 on 1 out to Frank Coor, who has doubled and flied to left. He has hit in 8 straight games. Alex Gordon at second base, Billy Butler at first. Inside to Frank Coor. First time through, the Royals first 2 times through. The Royals had 1 run, 2 hits against Carlos Carrasco. in this inning with just 1 out. 2 runs on 4 hits. On the ground to third and foul. On the other side, Kyle Davies is over 90 pitches. And the Royals have Jeremy Jeffress warming up in the bullpen. Bob McClure just went over and gave Davies a pat on the shoulder, so that might be it for him. We'll see. But Jeffress has been warming up this entire inning. One and two. It's interesting with Tim Belcher going out to the mound, how much that had to do with an adjustment for what the Royals are doing now, or just maybe trying to calm him down and not let this inning get away.
Well, you know, Tim Belcher, he's going to be right on top of things. I mean, he was an aggressive pitcher himself.
Around the umpire, Joe West. Cabrera to Laporta. That ends the inning, but the Royals get 2 and they take the lead. Melky Cabrera doubles into the left field corner, and Alex Gordon has a 12-game hitting streak, giving the Royals the lead. For the 7th inning. Hey fans, Pepsi Max is proud to be the official drink of the Royals and the Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast booth. Look for these special edition Frank White Pepsi Max cans at your neighborhood Hy-Vee. On Saturday, April 30th, Frank will be at Hy-Vee in Gladstone from 11 a.m. to noon for a special meet and greet. So stop by, say hi to Frank, get a free can of Pepsi Max. It tastes so good. Jeremy Jeffress is on for the 7th inning. So Kyle Davies gives up 2 runs, 7 hits, 6 innings. And now the Chevy call to the bullpen. And Jeffress will get Michael Brantley, Matt Laporta, and Jack Hanahan. I was in my neighborhood Hy-Vee yesterday, Frank, and saw the big display of the Frank White Pepsi Max cans.
It's really nice to be special sometimes, you know. I never thought I'd see myself on a Pepsi can or any can. But I do like your promo, man.
Michael Brantley had a couple of good swings against Kyle Davies. There's your 0 calories Pepsi Max. Three balls and no strikes. Brantley lined to center and singled with a stolen base against Kyle Davies. Davies, by the way, finished retiring 11 of the last 13 batters that he faced. He struck out a season-high 7. His previous season high was 4 strikeouts. And now a 4-pitch walk to Brantley. Joel Goldberg.
Well, I talked to Jeremy Jeffress a couple days ago. He was looking forward to seeing a couple of his former Milwaukee Brewers minor league teammates. And, of course, the first 2 batters that he faces here are Michael Brantley and Matt Laporta. Michael Brantley told me, guys, they were teammates in Double-A and Low-A, and they were roommates in Low-A. As for Laporta, he said he threw hard back then. The key now, got to focus and try to square it up. Jeffress against Laporta, a couple of former teammates, guys.
All right, Joel, and Laporta against Kyle Davies was 1 for 2. He was going for it all there, and Jeffress ran it by him at 97. Laporta's single in the second inning was on a half swing, and he made pretty solid contact and hit a line drive into right field. No balls, 2 strikes. As part of our Fox Sports Supports charitable initiative, we are proud to wear these pins during our 2011 MLB on Fox Sports Midwest season to stand up to cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. Visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. Jeffress throws it off the netting of the dugout suite. Brantley to second. He's going to try for third, and now he hits the brakes, and the Royals almost had him hung up. How about that for base running? I don't think that's the way he had planned for it to happen, but a little fake move on the Royals, and he ends up at third base.
Well, Jeffrey's feet moved quick, but that arm didn't move with him, and they just really left this ball out. And you can see where Brantley goes around second. Mike came originally looking to throw to third, but then he readjusted to second base, and Brantley, that's when Brantley decided to go on to third.
A little shake and bake.
Yeah. If he comes up and throws ahead of him, at least it holds him at second, but he saw he had a chance, so by the time Escobar catches his throw and redirects it to third, it's too late.
Infield in halfway for the Royals. A curveball, no swing. Chad Fairchild is the umpire at first base. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Laporta. Jeffress could use a strikeout off the end of the bat, and he pokes it through the left side. So the curveball stayed up. It was not hit hard, but Laporta was able to punch it off the end of the bat and drive in his 9th run. So the game is tied at 3.
The one thing about the curveball here, you got to make sure this ball goes down and away from Laporta right there, Ryan. That one stayed up out over the plate. When you throw as hard as Jeffress does, it might be better to stay with the fastball. Maybe get a pop-up, and it might be a better pitch to hit if you can't get that curveball to do what you want it to do. Imagine being a first baseman taking a pickoff throw from him. And it's got to be right on. Anything off is by the first baseman.
Well, he is amped up when he comes into the games. There's no doubt about that. Jeremy Jeffress cannot be described on the mound as laid back. He comes out of the bullpen not only throwing fire, but breathing fire. 97 miles an hour and a strike to Hanahan. A foul out to third and a ground out to second base. Laporta does not have a threatening lead over at first base. That ball's in the dirt, and it rolls away from Trainer. And Laporta moves up on a wild pitch.
That curveball is so hard. I mean, just to be able to keep that ball out in front of you is a great job by trainer. Laporte did a good job reading his ball in the dirt and just continue down to second base.
No win tonight for Kyle Davies. 2 runs, 7 hits allowed in 6 innings. But the Indians tie it against the Royals bullpen, and now Hanahan trying to bunt, punches it foul.
That's not easy duty when a guy's throwing 97, 98 miles an hour. You really got to have a soft touch. You really got to get the bat out in front of the plate and keep the ball down toward the end of the bat.
Two and two. Leadoff walk to Michael Brantley. He went to third on a throwing error and scored on Laporta's single. And now Laporte is at second base on a wild pitch. Slice to left. Alex coming up, dives, and he caught it. So that's the second time in 2 days Alex has made a diving play out in left field.
Well, everybody asked me how has Alex adjusted to left field, and everybody to a man would say very well. I mean, he really tracks the ball well. He knows when to dive, and he's able to get up off his belly faster than most outfielders because he doesn't let that chest hit the ground. He just catches the ball. His right hand braces himself. The glove pushes him right up, and he's right up off the ground. That comes from maybe playing third base. You know, just getting up, making that throw to first base. But his feet are quick out there.
So that play keeps Laporta at second base. Ball 1 to Grady Sizemore. One for 3 tonight. Sizemore has struck out twice, and he has a double and a run scored. Well, we'll see how he is, Frank, after being away for such a long time. He did hit a home run yesterday in his first game back, but there aren't many guys who can throw a fastball by Grady Sizemore.
Well, you're right about that. I mean, this guy's a 30 home run guy and a 100 RBI guy, and they love to get him back to that point. But this is when you'll find out where your bat speed is right here.
Jeffress reached back, it looked like, for a little extra, and it's inside at 96. Now Aaron Crow is starting to loosen up out in the Royals bullpen. Three and one. For the Royals, it is the third blown save for the bullpen this year. Another walk. So 2 on, 1 out. Remember, you can secure your seat to the 2012 All-Star Game with season tickets. And when you buy 2 season tickets, you get 2 free, starting at just $7 per game. For details, go to 816-504-4040 or Royals.com/2012. And still plenty of time to get season tickets for this year. There is a season ticket package for every budget. This year in Arizona, next year right here at Kauffman Stadium. So the Indians have tied the game in the 7th inning, and they have gotten help from Jeremy Jeffress with 2 walks. He has committed an error, and he's uncorked a wild pitch. The only out is a diving play in left field by Alex Gordon. So 2 on, and as Drupal Cabrera will bat with Laporta at second, Sizemore at first. Cabrera has a third inning single. He was the 7th and final strikeout victim of Kyle Davies tonight. That was in the 5th inning. One and 0. Curveball broke out over the plate, but too low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, that ball, it's got such a deep bend to it. It catches Foxtracks right at the bottom of the strike zone. And technically it's a strike when it passes the hitter.
There's the strike, 2-1. You know, this way, power hitters and power pitchers are the same. Power hitters, to have a big, strong, powerful swing, sometimes the mechanics are out of whack, and those guys will have a lot of strikeouts as a result. Power pitchers and everything that Jeffress has to do to generate that velocity, every now and then, if the mechanics are just a little bit out of whack, he's going to struggle finding the strike zone as he has tonight. That was a good pitch there at the knees to make it 3-2 on Cabrera.
Yeah, a lot of it's all about the release point, and even when you go back to the great Nolan Ryan, he had the same mechanics but different release points on his fastball, and that's when you maximum power like that, it's hard to be right in that little window. Guys have to chase a lot of pitches out of the strike zone for you to be successful.
So the bases are loaded, and that's 3 walks in the inning for Jeffress. And he has faced his final hitter. So he gets 1 out, but he walks 3. And it will be Aaron Crow in the Chevy call to the bullpen to face Shin-Soo Choo in a tie game, and with the bases loaded. Nothing to show for his outing tonight, but trying to lift the spirits of Jeremy Jeffress, who is no doubt frustrated coming on in the 7th inning with a 1-run lead, but the Indians tie it. You can enjoy the game from a unique view at Rivals Sports Bar, located in the outfield just beyond the stadium's signature fountains. You'll enjoy one-of-a-kind seating with drinks and food on deck. For more information for reserving your table, visit royals.com/rivals. Come out early or you stay late, you can see Royals live with Joel, Split, and Monty out at Rival Sports Bar. Well, Aaron Crow, even though he's been a starter his whole life, early in the season, he has proven he can handle coming on with men on base and in critical situations, and that's what he inherits here. A 3-3 tie, the base is loaded with one out, and facing Shin-Soo Choo. Ball stays up. If it did. Shin-Soo Choo has singled. He has driven in a run. He has scored a run. He also has a stolen base. Two and 0. Excellent career numbers against the Royals, and those numbers are even better here at Kauffman Stadium. His career batting average here is over 400. He has driven in 21 runs here at Kauffman Stadium, and those are career highs for him in a visiting ballpark. The best average and most RBIs right here, which is a bit frightening in a 3-3 game in the 7th inning and with the bases loaded.
Well, he's a fastball hitter, and Crow's a fastball pitcher.
2-2. September 17th, Shin-Soo Choo hit a grand slam against Brian Bullington. That was a 3-home run game for him. His first and only Major League 3-home run game. And who was the winning pitcher that game? Carlos Carrasco. Got him looking. Choo can't believe it, but man, you can't let a pitch like that go by with the bases loaded.
Well, that fastball had a lot of run on it. It started in the middle of the plate and just went to the outer half. And I don't think Choo could have done much with it if he'd even swung at this point. He was looking at the run on that fastball.
Too close to take.
Yeah, with 2 strikes for sure. You hope you can get the bat on and try to foul it off, and hopefully Crow will make a mistake on the next pitch. But I think the run on that pitch really surprised Choo.
So Crow comes back after falling behind 2-0, and the slider is blocked by Trainer. So Carlos Santana, he drove in the first run of the game with a first inning double. He is 1 out of 3 and had a good looking swing on that pitch, but he is only 2 out of his last 29. And again, Aaron Crow is going to have to come back from 2 balls and no strikes.
But that pitch there looked more like a curveball than that typical hard slider that he throws.
Popped up. The wind pushes it towards left. Escobar went straight out, but he adjusts. And Aaron Crow comes on with the bases loaded and 1 out and gets a strikeout and a pop-up. Not often a team gives up the lead in the 7th inning, but feels good coming off the field. But the Royals are feeling good. It could have been a lot worse, but Aaron Crow to the rescue, and we are tied to the bottom of the 7th. And we'll get you up to date with everything that's happened tonight in our Sonic game summary. Royals took the lead on 4 straight hits in the 6th inning. A 3-2 lead with 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Alex Gordon has tied his career high with a 12-game hitting streak. Billy Butler has 2 hits on his 25th birthday, and the Royals got another good starting performance on this homestand. The starters were excellent in the Seattle series, posting a 1.37 ERA. And Kyle Davies, even though he'll end up with a no decision tonight, Kyle gave up 2 runs in 6 innings with a season high 7 strikeouts. Stroked into right center field. Chu may have lost it. He was shading his eyes with his glove. That thing might have got up in the lights or in one of the ribbon boards. And Wilson Betemeat has a 10-game hitting streak with that leadoff single.
When we take a look at Chu, Betemeat puts a nice swing on this ball. You can see the glare of the light. So that line drive could have possibly caused him a little indecision. You can see him hesitate a little bit before he continued after the ball.
So Alex Gordon has a 12-game hitting streak. Jeff Francoeur has an 8-game hitting streak. And now Betemeat has a 10-game hitting streak. Now Matt Traynor trying to lay down a bunt, and he does to the first base side. Laporta tags him out, and Traynor moves the go-ahead run to second base. And out comes Manny Acta. So his pitcher is up over 90 pitches, and he's going to go to his bullpen. Whoa. And handshakes for a job well done. He leaves behind the go-ahead run at second base. Join us for a unique dining experience at Kauffman Stadium. The 390 Bar and Grill features a private bar, 65-inch HD TVs throughout the restaurant, and a climate-controlled environment. It is an affordable way to enjoy the game with friends or family. 390 Bar and Grill is open to the public, located on the third base side of the Lowe's level next to section 301. The old Stadium Club is now the new 390 Bar and Grill.
Well, we never get a chance to try those things.
This is my 13th year with the Royals. I have never watched the game from a seat here at Kauffman Stadium.
I've only watched one in my whole career.
Really? Wilson Betemit opened the inning with a single. Matt Traynor bunted him up to second base, and now Alcides Escobar 0 for 2 tonight. He did line out to third his last time up, facing Vinny Pestano. Vinny Pestano.
I won't try it. My cousin.
Ooh, right out over the plate. Escobar had a good swing, checking his bat to figure out why he didn't get more of that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals got a look last year at Pestano, his first year in the big leagues, but nobody has more than 2 at-bats against him. Now tried to bunt his way on and fouled it away. Pestano is out of the Indian system. Drafted in 06 out of Cal State Fullerton. He was on the 2004 College World Series champion Cal State Fullerton team. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Been a back and forth game all night. Indians scored in the first, Royals scored in the second. Indians scored in the third. Royals took the lead in the 6th. Indians tied it in the 7th. And now the go-ahead run at second base in the bottom of the 7th. 2-2 on Escobar. On the ground to the right side, Orlando Cabrera will throw out Escobar, and Betemit moves up to third base. One of the Royals who has faced Vinny Pestano before tonight is Mike Aviles. 0 for 2 with a strikeout against him last year. Tonight, Mike is 1 for 3 with a run scored. 0-1. Last year, the Indians were the youngest team in the major leagues. This year, the Royals are the youngest team in the major leagues. And both teams are a big surprise so far this year. The Indians in first place, Royals in second place in the Central. Aviles did not swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that was the subject of tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint, where 77% believe the Royals are the bigger surprise than the Indians. Thank you for voting tonight. Ooh. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now that pitch got a lot of the plate, but Pestano, the way he drops down, man, you really got to hang in there if you're a right-hand batter.
Well, he definitely holds you back a little bit. If he throws that at the middle of the plate and it goes away, it's going to be a hard pitch for Michael Aviles to hit.
Still 1-2.
He has a lot more success with that fastball. Even though he throws down below, the fastball doesn't seem to sink. It seems to stay straight and out over the plate up. And that would be an advantage to Aviles in this at-bat.
2-2. Rafael Perez is warming up in the bullpen, so he might come on to face Melky Cabrera. And Pestano strikes out Aviles, and in frustration slams his bat into the dirt. Now Panera will take us around the American League. Boston wins its 5th, 9-1 over Toronto. The White Sox have lost 5 in a row, shut out by Tampa Bay. David Price the winner. Minnesota wins at Baltimore. The Orioles have lost 8 in a row. Texas is in front of the Angels. The Angels and Texas are tied in the West, and Detroit and Seattle are just getting underway out on the West Coast. Over in the National League, Tim Lincecum took a no-hitter into the 7th inning at Colorado and lost the no-hitter. So for those of you who want National League updates, there you go.
Well, in Colorado, too. That's even special because the ball does travel that big ballpark.
Aaron Crow came on with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 7th inning. The Indians had already tied the game. He struck out Shin-Soo Choo, and he got Carlos Santana to pop out. Now he gets Travis Hafner, Orlando Cabrera, and Michael Brantley. It's 2-1 on Hafner, who struck out his first 2 times against Kyle Davies, and then doubled to left center field in the 6th, but was left stranded at second base. 3-1. Trainer tried to frame it. Paul Schreiber is the home plate umpire. Staying away from Hafner, and Hafner walks. First walk given up by Aaron Crow, but 4 from the Royals bullpen. Kyle Davies was without a walk in his 6 innings. So Kyle, in his last 2 starts, has 1 walk and 11 innings.
Well, Kyle Davies pitched Hafner really well in the first at bat. He stayed inside, got him on a strikeout, then went away the second at bat and got him a strikeout again on the 3rd at bat. Just trying to think like the hitter, he went back away again, and that's when Hafner hit the double in the left center field, and then Aaron Crow stayed away also. So they more or less took him out there, and his good eye just took over at that point. So they'd gone away from the inside part of the plate with it.
The Indians get a little better speed over at first base with Travis Buck. But if this game goes deep into the night, they are without Travis Hafner's bat. Orlando Cabrera at the plate is a good hit and run candidate, also a good bunter. And he grounds it to short. Backhanded Escobar out at second, and a wild throw prevents a double play. Now Cabrera has to scramble to get back to first base. He had made a move to second, so no double play, but that doesn't take away from the great stop by Escobar, which resulted in a force at second base.
Well, Alcides continues to play well. He just gets that long body down on the ground. But I tell you what, to be as tall as he is, he sure can get up quickly. And he gives Mike an excellent throw here, an excellent feed on this double play. And Mike just really never got any momentum going toward first base. And that's what made him pull that ball to the outfield side. So if he could go across the base, have a little weight shift toward first base, he can make a better turn. But he just opened up, and then when he opened your body up to the base, he just hooked the ball right to the outside part.
The pitch tied up Trainer. Brantley thinking about bunting.
The only thing about opening up like Mike opened up right there is that when the runner gets on top of you, you can't get off the ground. And when you can't get off the ground, that's what's scary about opening the body up like that. So you got to keep that left side closed and then make a weight shift to first base, and then you can get up and over that runner.
Orlando Cabrera has attempted 1 stolen base this year, and he was thrown out. One and one.
So if you watch Mike, if he comes across the base with his left foot to meet that throw, now he's got a better chance to clear the runner and still have the ability to throw to first. Once you open up, you just can't get up off the ground, and he's trying to get that left leg out of the way, and then now you got to hook the ball. You had no weight shift to get the ball down the line.
1-2 on Brantley. You know, we've seen Mike Aviles play second base many times for the Royals. We've seen him at third base, but the truth of the matter is he is a natural shortstop. And
yes,
when you're a natural shortstop, that runner bearing down on you at second base, I mean, that's going to take a long time where you're comfortable with that.
Well, you're right. When you don't play it a lot, it's also very difficult.
That is foul, and it's still 1-2 to Brantley.
Well, one of the biggest mistakes that second basemen make, they think they need to be quick with their hands, but it's also, say, it brings the left leg back, but the left leg should have went forward to meet. You know, you tag the base with your left foot, the right foot goes forward to meet the throw. Now the left foot comes back to first base. You just got to do it quickly. But when you get the ball and open up like that, it's all arm, and you got to have a good release point. But he just made him hook the ball to the outfield side because he's trying to protect that left leg being hit.
So you're throwing forward, but your body's going backward.
Yeah, everything goes backwards. You make that good run to second base, then you back off the base, which makes the throw a little longer and gives the runner a chance to get there. So you got to get on the shortstop third base side of the bag, just one step. And now you catch the ball on that right foot, and now you're ready to throw back to first with that next left step, and now you're be able to get up. Just follow your arm swing, and you're up around the runner.
Aviles goes up to get it. No double play.
Well, Mike does a good job here. I mean, he can't do it any faster than this, having that jump. And Cabrera makes a good read on this line drive and gets back to first base. I just happen to believe the only two places to get doubled off is on a ball back to the pitcher and a line drive to first base. Any other infielder, you should be able to read that line drive, freeze, and get back to the base.
Now we're talking about the highest level of baseball in the world, so there's a speed element to the way the game is played, but it's one of the first things you learn when you play the game. Freeze on a line drive.
Well, they tell you any ball that's head high or lower, you've got to hold, because where are you going to go? You know, let the ball clear the infield, then go. But when guys get in trouble is when as soon as the ball is hit, they just take off 3 or 4 steps, and that's usually enough to get you doubled off. And that's also enough to get the guy to hit the ball upset at you, because that's a double play he shouldn't hit. He shouldn't be credited with.
2 hits tonight for Matt Laporta. He drove in the tying run last inning. And Cabrera got a good break on that pitch in the dirt, and he moves up to second base. It is a wild pitch charged to Aaron Crow, and the first wild pitch of his big league career.
Hey, this is that hard slider we talked about, and Matt Trainer just couldn't get that glove open enough and get his body in front of it enough to keep it from going off. And Cabrera, being the veteran guy he is, he sees that and moves down to second base.
Just missed the inside. I don't know how the Royals feel about the strike zone, but the fans have been at odds with Paul Schreiber all night.
Well, they go by the height of the ball, and they see the height of it from the side, but they really can't see the corners, and they show that was clearly way inside.
Three balls, 1 strike. Laporta has 2 hits and an RBI tonight, has driven in 9 this year. Waiting on deck is Jack Hanahan, who began the game at 220, and he is 0 for 3. So they don't come right at Laporta. He will walk. And now 5 walks given up by the Royals bullpen. And it will be the number 9 hitter, Hanahan. And Bob McClure is going to go out and talk with Aaron Crow before the Royals go after Hanahan.
Come on, Chin!
which means Bruce Chen is pitching tomorrow night. Genmar Gomez, just called up from the minor leagues, will start for the Indians. 7:10 first pitch. Royals Live with Joel is at 6:30. This is a 4-game series between the Royals and the Indians. As good as Aaron Crow has been for the Royals, there is no doubt that if somebody is going to beat the Royals in this inning, it's going to be Jack Hanahan, not Grady Sizemore, waiting on deck.
Well, that's for sure. That's one thing that Hanahan got going for him right here. If he gets in a situation where he's got to be thrown a strike, they'd rather see him do it.
Hanahan is fouled to third, grounded out to second, and lined to left on a sliding play by Gordon. And a slider is in the dirt, ball 1. Indians let a big opportunity slip away last inning. With the bases loaded, 1 out, they had tied the game, but Aaron Crow bailed the Royals out. And now first and second, 2 down. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, he's gone breaking ball and changeup to Hanahan, so he hasn't necessarily challenged him yet.
Well, he just really just going 2-0 just makes him a better hitter on this next pitch. And you just ask yourself, what was he waiting for? I mean, you work yourself into a hitting count, and the game's on the line. And then you go to 2-0 fastball down the middle. You just take the pitch all the way. I don't know. I'm glad the Royals are happy he did it.
Foul back to the netting. Here's the play that Alex Gordon made on Hanahan last inning.
That's really a tough play, slicing away. And look how quick he gets up. I mean, that's pretty good right there. Most outfielders are sprawled out on their chest, but he's thinking about getting off the ground and getting the ball back in the infield.
Hanahan strikes out. Grady Sizemore stays on deck. So to the bottom of the 8th, and the Royals will have Melky Cabrera. He has driven in a run. Alex Gordon has driven in a run. And Billy Butler, who has 2 hits.
once again, 3-3 at Kauffman Stadium. Immediately following this game, we have got Boulevard Royals Live coming up from Rivals. Nice crowd out there. Jeff Montgomery and I will be breaking this game down, talking about the fantastic inning and two-thirds from Aaron Crow, plus a couple of good hitting streaks remain alive for the Royals, and hopefully a Kansas City victory to move them into a tie for first place as well. Highlights, Ned Yost reaction, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, Joel, it's Rafael Perez in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Royals have switch hitting Melky Cabrera, followed by left-hand hitting Alex Gordon, a right-hand hitter Billy Butler, and then a left-hand hitting Kila Kaihue scheduled to come up. Joakim Soria is getting ready for the 9th inning. Indians got 6 1/3 innings out of Carlos Carrasco. He gave up all 3 runs. Vinny Pistano got him out of the 7th with the tie. And now Perez. Down and in, ball 1. Melky doubled, drove in a run, came around to score in a 2-run 6th inning, which gave the Royals a brief 3-2 lead. Indians came right back in the 7th and tied it. Melky doesn't have a lot of experience against Perez. 3 plate appearances, and he's 0 for 2 with a walk. Two balls, 1 strike. Royals in the first 5 innings tonight had 1 run, 2 hits against Carrasco, but changed the approach in the 6th and had 4 straight hits and scored 2 runs. They have chased ball 3, and Melky is cursing himself at home plate. Instead, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's been one of the things about Perez, is just being able to throw strikes and just making sure you get a strike when he comes in out of the pen. So 3 walks in 5 innings.
Popped up. Laporta with Cabrera behind him, and Melky Cabrera fouls out. So that sets up a lefty-lefty, and Alex Gordon, who's tied his career high with a 12-game hitting streak. And he made an adjustment against Carlos Carrasco in the 6th inning. Carrasco struck him out the first 2 times. That made Alex 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts against Carrasco. But he singled to center in the 6th, driving in a run that put the Royals in front. Alex has faced Perez 11 times and has reached base 7 of those 11 times. 2 hits and 5 walks. 1-1.
Well, he just looks a lot more calmer at the plate. He's not jumpy. He's seeing the ball really well. They saw the ball well in spring training. Got, I think, 11 or 12 walks. He just looks a lot more relaxed at the plate than we've ever seen him before.
Cabrera moves to the middle, throws off the base. Alex, well, did he ever touch first base? Looked like he got around the tag. Did he get the bag? First base umpire Paul Schreiber says that he did. So Cabrera won't have an easier throw all year, and he just let it get away from him.
But you're right about that, Ryan. You got to set your feet and make a good throw. You know, he really just threw off his back foot there, and the ball ran down the line, dropped his arm, and Alex was able to make a nice evasive move right there. And so you just got to always be careful on a play like that, because you're going head first and you dive it when you don't expect to. So now you just got to make sure you don't damn that shoulder in the ground. You know, that's a good way to separate your shoulder right there.
Did he get the bag?
It just looked good. if he did, it was just so really,
Man.
really by the end of his fingertip right there, right on that right on the corner right there. That would be what the umpire would see, and he's pulling dirt up with it too, so it's kind of hard. But you can see the stress he puts on his shoulders because you're running fast, and all of a sudden you have to make an evasive move, and that's where you can hyperextend that shoulder.
1-1 on Billy Butler. 2 hits tonight and a walk on his 25th birthday. So picking up where he left off against the Indians last year when he hit .397 against them. And if you're wondering about Billy and Perez, Billy is 0 for 4. 2-1. There is nothing straight out of Rafael Perez's hand.
And I think that's where his control comes into play, that nothing is straight, and so you just got to kind of be a little more patient with him. But you always seem to be in a hitting count when you face him.
Three and one.
You go back to thinking, Ryan, that there's no sure thing in baseball. I mean, that was just a routine ground ball to second base, and Orlando Cabrera, being a veteran guy, if he just took a little crow hop toward first base and made a nice throw, it would have been all right. But he was so confident that he just stayed on his back foot and just arm dropped down and couldn't make an accurate throw to first.
Now Billy walks, so 2 gifts from the Indians, an error and a walk, and 2 on for Keela. Joe Smith, a right-handed sidearm pitcher, is warming up behind Rafael Perez and will most likely come on and face Jeff Francoeur. Aquila looking for his first run driven in of the homestand. He is 2 out of 15 against the Mariners and now the Indians in 5 games. With 1 out, Alex Gordon reached on the air. Billy Butler walked. So good speed at second base. And that is the go-ahead run with Soria already warmed up in the bullpen. Grounded to first. Laporta goes down to second, and he throws that in the dirt, and no double play. The play of the game right now. And Billy Butler apparently was safe. Billy Butler was safe at second base. He didn't realize it, so he stands there just stunned. And a heads-up play by Asdrubal Cabrera. He asked for the ball back. So I say it again. The defensive play of the game right now is not only Asdrubal Cabrera's handling of the throw by Laporta, but being heads up and asking for the Indians to throw. Now, why isn't he out there? I mean, he's got his foot and his knee on the bag.
Yeah, Joe West called safe right away on this play, and Billy must, I don't know whether Billy didn't hear Joe West say safe, but you got to stay on the base in this situation. Look over at your third base coach and before you come off the base. So you take the left knee may have hit the bag right there, but that's where Billy's got to come up and take a look at the third base coach and let the third base coach tell you that you're out.
Wow. The Royals almost had the bases loaded with 1 out. Pitching change for the Indians. any better, but Asdrubal Cabrera might have been the only person here tonight that realized that Billy was safe at second base. So instead of the bases loaded and 1 out, it's first and third, 2 down, and Joe Smith, who started the season on the disabled list, comes on for the second time, and he will pitch to Jeff Francoeur.
This is the time. This is just a ball he hit in the corner. It's a double. He did a good job. 95-mile-an-hour fastball out over the plate. Just stayed right through it. Swings got shorter, and that's been the difference in how he's been swinging the bat right now. Early in spring training, the swing was long, and toward the end of spring training, he worked with Kevin Seitzer, shortened that swing up, and I tell you, the ball is really jumping off his bat.
Two balls, 1 strike. A couple of former National Leaguers hooking up here. And Francoeur has 7 at-bats against Joe Smith. 2 hits, both for extra bases. Did he swing? No. 3 balls, 1 strike. So this is what Manny Acta wanted right here. And he wanted the final out of the inning right here. Righty-righty. Because on deck is Wilson Betemit, who can move over to the left side. And that's ball 4. So they're loaded up with 2 down. Not what Manny Acta had in mind when he walked out to the mound to make a pitching change.
Well, that low arm slot, he was probably just hoping to get a ground ball to shortstop and get out of this inning.
Even though he's been around a long time, nobody is feeling more anxious at the moment than Orlando Cabrera. Because if he makes a play on a routine ground ball, the Indians are back in the dugout. So this is bonus time for the Royals. Almost hit him. And Wilson probably thinking to himself, maybe that wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world.
Well, that's easier said than done. I mean, that's when the ball's down around your kneecaps, it's kind of hard to say, I'm going to let this hit me. I know the fans see it a lot in college and things like that, but it's not an easy thing to do. Your first reaction is to evade the pitch, especially if it's a fastball.
Good swing, and he fouled it to the top of the screen. A bizarre inning. Began with a foul out, then the air. Alex Gordon getting around the tag on a wild throw to first, then a walk, then the odd 3-6 fielder's choice where Billy Butler was safe at second base. He thought he was out on a force out, so he started to head back to the dugout, and then the Indians tagged him out, and then the walk to Francoeur. Nasty pitch, almost like a frisbee coming in by way of third base. It started way outside and caught the outside corner.
He's got that low slot there. There it is right there, right on the outside corner. Good pitch by Smith here. You know, when Billy was standing there, you know, if you see the first baseman throwing the ball back to second, you might say, well, what's going on? I'm going to hustle back to the base or something like that. But normally, if you're not sure, you got to stay on that base and look at the third base coach and let him tell you you're out, or look at the umpire and see what he's doing, but you don't leave the base.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Let me change the scoring for you there. It was a 3-6-1-6 ground ball to Laporta, a right-hand thrower, and he threw down to second, almost threw it into left field. Cabrera saved it on a 1-hop and then threw back to first with the pitcher Perez covering, and then it was Perez going back to Cabrera. Popped up. Hanahan into foul ground. The Royals leave the bases loaded. So we're tied at 3 heading to the 9th. So both teams have let opportunities slip away in the last 2 innings. Joakim Soria will get the top of the Indians' order in the 9th. A 7.04 ERA in his first 8 appearances. Grady Sizemore, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Shin-Soo Choo coming up. Sizemore is 1 out of 3. Doubled and scored in the 3rd inning, and he reached with a walk in the 7th. Oh, and 2. Grady Sizemore 2 out of 4 against Soria with a couple of walks. Pulled over to the Royals dugout. Soria's last outing was on Friday night. Cold night, rainy, windy. Had trouble with his control, and the game ended on a line drive to third base. With Seattle rallying in the 9th, both Tim Collins and Soria had trouble throwing strikes after sitting out in the bullpen and freezing for 8 innings. And the game ended with a line out to Mike Aviles at third base with the tying run at third and the go-ahead run at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, you can really tell he had a hard time with feeling that he could tell he was just freezing out there. I mean, he just kept blowing on his hands continually through all small fastballs. And really, the only curveball he spun up there was the one that Etro jammed himself on and hit a ground ball to second base.
Line to left field. So Sizemore doesn't look rusty at all. So the leadoff man on and good speed for the Indians at first base.
His fastball just stayed up, running away from Sizemore, and he goes right with it. Good piece of hitting on his part.
Cabrera 1 for 3 with a walk. He has 1 sacrifice bunt so far this year. And if he decides to swing away, he is 1 for 4 in the past against Soria. And if you're Manny Acta and you really want to apply the pressure in this inning, you got a pretty good hit and run combination here with speed at first and a pretty good bat control man at the plate. Showed bunt, and he took a strike.
He does have options, right? You're right, an option here. He could hit and run. He could straight steal. I don't know if they feel like Grady's at that point where he can start stealing bases again, but they do have the ability to hit and run in this situation.
Not running, and the bunt is down in front of the mound. Soria goes down to second base, and they force out Sizemore.
That good hustle right here on Joakim Soria's part. I mean, there was no hesitation at all what he's going to do with this ball, and did a good job. Made the play, set his feet. That's a throw that they're not usually accustomed to making, but threw a strike to Escobar at second base.
One of the biggest outs tonight, if not the biggest out for the Royals, came against Shin-Soo Choo in the 7th inning. The game was tied at 3. The Indians had scored a run in the top of the 7th. And had loaded the bases against Jeremy Jeffress after back-to-back walks, and then Aaron Crow came on with the bases loaded, 1 out, and struck out Shin-Soo Choo. And then got Carlos Santana on a pop out. 2 balls and no strikes.
Just came out very aggressive, good running fastball on the outside corner. Chu disagreed with it, but Fox track showed that it was right there.
Soria reaching back for 93 to make the count 2 balls, 1 strike. Normally a pretty good fastball hitter. Shin-Soo Choo has had some trouble tonight catching up to the fastball. As Drupal Cabrera's at first base with 1 out. On the ground to Aviles. Out at second. And low throw. Double play. To the bottom of the 9th. Tied at 3. Ninth inning, he got some help from the defense, and tonight's Chevrolet play of the game.
A big double play here, Ryan. A game on the line here. Chu hits a hot shot to Aviles at second base, and nice pivot by Escobar. Good stretch by Keela on the other end. Double play. And Ross have an opportunity to take this game.
Second double play turned by the Royals. Aviles will bat 3rd in the inning. Chris Getz is going to hit for Matt Trainer. And Joe Smith throws a strike. Smith very difficult on right-hand hitters with his angle. So Ned Yost goes with a left-hand bat, and a left-hand bat with some speed. There's that backdoor slider that gave Wilson Betemit problems before he made the final out in the 8th. Still 0-2. If we go to 10, Tim Collins is warming up. Carlos Santana, Travis Buck, and Orlando Cabrera are scheduled to bat in the 10th inning. The Royals had just as soon Collins only warms up tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Getz. Stayed outside. Santana tried to pull it in. 2-2.
Joe Smith is using that little slider to try to catch that's what I call a backdoor slider. Throw it to the outside part of the plate and have it come in and catch the outside corner.
Still 2-2. Joe Smith began the year on the disabled list with an abdominal strain. Just recently called off the DL. Last year, his first year with the Indians, and at the end of April, he was struggling so badly they sent him to the minor leagues. 3-2.
They're just not having a consistent release point. And that fastball started off the plate and stayed way off the plate. So just developing that good, consistent release point down under seemed to be a problem tonight so far.
And now the temperatures are perhaps becoming a factor. A lot of blowing into the hands. Not quite getting the grip that they're used to. And Getz fighting to stay alive. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's pretty chilly down with that wind. That wind chill is what gets a pitcher, and hands get dry, and then the ball gets slick, and that's when that grip is hard to get.
Wind has been consistently blowing in from right field, right center field all night. And the wind will move that one around. Michael Brantley is back, and there is 1 out in the 9th inning. And now some right-hand batters coming up, beginning with Alcides Escobar. 0 for 3 tonight, but another good night on defense. So the batting average is down to .222 for Escobar. This will be the first time he has faced Joe Smith. One and one. Royals had the bases loaded in the 8th inning, a crazy inning that included a couple of errors and a walk. Line foul off the right field side. By the way, on that odd play where Billy Butler first thought he was safe, or thought he was out, and started to walk back to the dugout and then was tagged out, they have changed the scoring on that to an error by first baseman Matt Laporta. So it's an error 3 and then a put out 1-6. So there were 2 errors in the inning and a walk. Make that 2 walks in the inning, but no runs in. Line to left field. Brantley on the move and runs it down. And there's your center fielder playing left field.
He made it look easy too. That was a very difficult play, but being left-handed really helped him on this play. Well, Escobar does a good job going down and getting this pitch, and you think it's a base hit right off the bat, but Brantley made this play look real easy.
Brantley just yesterday moved over to left field with Grady Sizemore coming back from the disabled list. Low to Mike Aviles. 1 for 4 with a 6th inning single and a run scored. 1 ball, 1 strike. Aviles is 1 out of 2 in the past, going head to head with Joe Smith. Tied him up. Smith, like he pitches, goes sidearm to first, and we will play extra innings tonight. So Tim Collins will be on for the 10th. And extra innings are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. All season long, Jack Link's Beef Jerky, field your wild side. So Chris Getz will go in and play second base. Getz batted for Matt Trainer. So the Royals need a new catcher, and it's Brian Pena. And Tim Collins will pitch to Carlos Santana, Travis Buck, and Orlando Cabrera. So Collins on for the 9th time. And we were talking about that game on Friday night in the cold with the wind and the rain. And Collins started the 9th inning for the Royals, and with a big lead. It was not a save situation, but he had a chance to close out the game beyond the field when everybody is shaking hands, but had problems throwing strikes. Joaquim Soria after him had trouble throwing strikes, but the Royals were able to hang on. So Collins trying to bounce back from that, and he's fallen behind 2 balls and no strikes on Santana.
Yeah, one of the biggest things, Ryan, is he just had a hard time getting his fastball down in the zone. He's been staying up the last couple of outings, just getting on top of it and getting it down in the zone and getting it on the plate.
Now Shelley Duncan has grabbed a bat in the on-deck circle, so he'll hit for Travis Buck. 4-pitch walk. Seems like a long time ago now, but Kyle Davies in his start went 6 innings, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 7. And now since that point, the Royals bullpen has walked 6. So Shelley Duncan, who's just 3 for 10 this season, bats, and he pulls it foul outside of third base. Duncan, the son of Dave Duncan, longtime pitching coach of the St. Louis Cardinals, and before that, pitching coach of the Oakland A's. One and 1. Both teams have to be kicking themselves for the opportunities not cashed in since the 7th inning. The Indians had the bases loaded, 1 out in the 7th, and Aaron Crow bailed the Royals out in that inning. They stranded 2 more runners in the 8th against Aaron Crow. Duncan drives it to left field. It's hooking into the corner, and it's a fair ball, and now it bounces over Alex Gordon. Santana around third. He will score on the pinch hit double by Shelley Duncan. So this time the Indians do it the hard way with runners in scoring position in the 7th and 8th innings. Couldn't get him home. Duncan gets Santana home all the way from first base.
Well, Collins tried to get this ball inside, and Shelley Duncan turns on it, and Alex gets caught deep in the corner, and the ball hits the wall and gets over his head. So that's when you got to know when to try to cut one off, or just play it on that one hop and try to keep the runner at third base. But he got too close in there, and Santana was able to score from first base.
Orlando Cabrera not quite sure about the sign, so this is what a veteran will do. No shame, no pride. Just make sure you get the play right and go talk to the third base coach.
That's what you got to do. You don't want to mess around here. And I'll say, don't assume anything. You just go down there and get it right.
and he bunts it foul. So anyway, opportunity wasted in the 7th and in the 8th by the Indians. They got a leadoff single in the 9th, couldn't turn that into a run. The Royals had 4 consecutive hits with nobody out in the 6th inning, only able to score 2 runs thanks to a double play. Leadoff single in the 7th, couldn't get him home. Bases loaded in the 8th, unable to score a run. And now Cabrera swinging away, hits it into right center, and Francoeur runs it down. That was right into the teeth of a stiff wind, which has been blasting in from right all night. So Cabrera was trying to go to the right side to advance Duncan to third. And now getting ready in the Indians bullpen is their closer, Chris Perez. He has been unhittable going back to last year. He has 24 consecutive scoreless appearances where he has been perfect in save situations. A little bit outside to Michael Brantley.
I'm sure that Manny Acta would rather have Orlando Cabrera bunt, but with that first attempt he made, he didn't look too good to him, so he took it off and let him swing away. But he can't be happy with the bunt execution of his team tonight.
Brantley more thinking about a bunt for a base hit.
In this situation here with 1 out, he really can't afford to give a strike away with a bunt attempt here. You're trying to add on. Your manager rather see you try to get a base hit, try to drive that run in with 1 out.
Frank, is bunting really that bad today, or do we just give your era too much credit?
I think it's bad. I mean, I just think the Royals do a little bit better job because they work at it really hard. But overall, league-wise, with the DH system, you don't bunt as much. You do really work on a lot in spring training, but when the season starts, it doesn't show up very often. And when the manager asks players to do it, the fundamentals just aren't there. They just don't get the bat out front, try to get the ball down. No, they don't really look around and see what line it's better to try to bunt the ball to. And I think that's the key. Yeah, you say sacrifice, and it's almost like they're bunt for a base hit, too close to the line. Just a lot of stuff that they work on in spring training, but you don't do it enough during the season where it really shows up.
Wow. Brantley walks, 2 on, 1 out. Tim Collins feeling perhaps that he's being squeezed.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good ways outside right there. But when you kind of up and all over the place, it's kind of hard to bring. You got to bring that umpire into a zone, and when your fastball's up out of the zone, you're going to get that one that appears to be close, but it looks good from the side to the fans, but straight on, it's just not a strike.
It looked good to one of the announcers, I can tell you that, until I saw Fox tracks.
What I try to do on the ball outside, I try to watch the catcher's elbow. If the elbow kind of goes out a little bit, it tells me the ball's going to be off the plate. If it stays down, then it tells me the ball's going to be on the plate. And I think that's kind of like some guidelines I try to look for. So you watch Brian's left elbow, and if it goes out, see how it goes out, then it gives me the impression that the ball's going to be outside. So if you turn the glove the other way, straight up and down, then it looks like the ball is more of a strike to the umpire. But as your gloves start to trail to the outside, then the umpire's eyes are going to go right with you.
Going to get a pinch runner. Adam Everett is going to run for Shelley Duncan. So now that another runner is in scoring position, Manny Acta going with a little more speed at second base. And the veteran Adam Everett. So Matt Laporte at the plate with Everett at second base and Brantley at first. This is the 5th time this year that the Royals have gone into extra innings, and it's only their 16th game overall.
That was a pretty good adjustment by Tim Collins right there. Just fastballs command just hadn't been there, and he throws a changeup for a first pitch strike. That's a real good adjustment.
Two hits and an RBI for Matt Laporta tonight. 1-1. Bedemy to the Indians dugout, and it is out of play. And it is back onto the field. Now that fan is getting booed, but I'd like to see the fan who would make that play. Two hands, bare hands, and that ball has a lot of spin on it.
It's almost like it hit a brick wall right here, Ryan. It just hit off the palm of his hand and just ended up all the way back on the field. But he did everything right to try to catch it.
It's a rough crowd booing that guy. You got to cheer him just for trying. Slow roller to the right side, out at second base, and it gets away from Keela. Coming down from third is Adam Everett. It is a 4-6 fielder's choice, and then it's going to be an error on Escobar on the low throw to Keela.
But Chris Guest makes a turn. This is a good throw here. We see Escobar's right foot slip from under him, but that's the ball right there that you kind of want your first baseman to be able to keep out in front of him on. It was a short hop. It wasn't an in-between hop. So you kind of like to see your first baseman pick that ball.
And you can understand that the throw was not right on the money by Escobar, because he's trying to rush the double play there. I mean, he doesn't have all the time in the world. That ball was not hard hit to get. So
that's just a short hop right there. So you kind of expect that ball to, if not be caught, stay out in front of don't get by. But because as a first baseman, your main job there with a run on a potential score, you got to stop the ball.
Runner going, and Hanahan drives it over Melky Cabrera. So the Indians will have a 3-run 10th inning against Collins and a 6-3 lead. Hanahan, one of the Indians hitters that came up short with a scoring opportunity in the 8th inning and a strikeout against Aaron Crow, and makes up for that with a 2-out RBI double. So the failure to turn a double play has cost the Royals 2 runs.
And again, this is another fastball up in the zone. The ball's traveling a little bit better this time of night than it was early in the game. The ball gets by Cabrera, and Laporta comes in to score.
Ball one to Grady Sizemore, who is 4 out of 8 since coming back from the disabled list yesterday. And 3 out of the 4 hits are extra base hits. He has a double tonight, a single, a walk, and a run scored. Up the middle, it hit the bag. Either way, it's a base hit, but no chance for Cabrera to do anything coming in from center field with the deflection. And it's a 3-hit game for Sizemore and a 4-run inning.
You go back on this and watch the ball hit this bag, it kind of reminds you of being in Cleveland when they hit the Seagulls at one time.
Shin-Soo Choo.
But you don't see the ball hit the bag very often. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've ever seen a ball hit the bag going up the middle. But there's not much Escobar can do right there.
Maybe he has an opportunity to dive and knock it down and keep it on the infield and prevent Hanahan from scoring. And I don't know if it was hit hard enough for Melky Cabrera to charge in and make a play at the plate. Hanahan with 2 outs is going on contact. So now the failure to turn the double play has cost the Royals 3 runs. Look out. Ricocheting in and out of the Indians dugout. Tim Collins, in his first 7 appearances with the Royals, had 7 scoreless innings. And now in his last 2, he has given up 6 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Not all those runs are earned, and the Indians are still breathing now after Cabrera picks up his second hit, and first and third for Shin-Soo Choo. Collins' next pitch will be number 28 in the inning, and it'll be to the 9th Cleveland hitter. Had a play off to the left field side. Going into this inning, we had a 3-3 tie. The Indians with 4 runs on 4 hits. The inning began with a walk. There have been 2 walks in the inning and 1 big error. 0-2 on Shin-Soo Choo.
Well, Collins got a very good fastball. He also has a very good changeup, very good curveball. And when that fastball is not working, sometimes that secondary pitches are the best way to go.
Good curveball there, but the Indians come up with 4. Play, and it adds 3 more runs to an inning. All the runs are earned, by the way. So it is a non-save situation for Chris Perez. Maniacta going to bring in Justin Germano. Perez was warming up until it became a non-save situation. So the Royals will try and get back into this against Germano, but the first sign of trouble will mean Chris Perez will be back on the hill out in the right field bullpen. Melky Cabrera, Alex Gordon, Billy Butler scheduled to hit here in the bottom of the 10th. This is the 5th extra inning game the Royals this year, and just game number 16 overall. Melky 1 out of 4, RBI double and a run scored in the 6th inning. One ball, 1 strike. Royals had a 3-2 lead after getting 2 in the bottom of the 6th, and it was Melky driving in a run and then scoring the tying run in that inning. The Indians came right back in the top of the 7th and tied the game against Jeremy Jeffress, and then both teams wasted scoring opportunities for the next 3 innings until the Indians scored 4 against Tim Collins in the 10th. No swing, and it is 2-2.
Well, it just goes to show, Ryan, how little things, when they pop up, they don't seem significant when they pop up, but they become very significant when you look back over the game and look at the opportunities and just, you know, you don't want to call Billy's play a mental mistake, but it's just one of those things where if you're not sure about a play, you just have to look at the coach or look right at the umpire to see what the call is before you leave the base, and they'll probably think about that play there.
Sizemore sprinting back and then sprinting in after the wind knocked it down. 1 down in the 10th inning. Alex Gordon 1 out of 4. He put the Royals in front briefly with a single and an RBI in the 6th inning, and he has tied his career high with the 12-game hitting streak, batting at .358 overall. Remember in the movie Bull Durham, Kevin Costner was on the edge of becoming the all-time minor league hits leader, but he didn't want anyone to talk about it because the goal is to get to the big leagues. Justin Germano is the all-time winningest pitcher at AAA Portland. So he has spent a lot of time at AAA, a lot of time in the minor leagues. He's also spent some time in Japan. Out of the Padres system in 2000, traded to the Reds in 05 for Joe Randa. Traded to the Phillies in 06, and then went back to the Padres on waivers in 07. So he has really bounced around, trying to close this game out in the bottom of the 10th. He got Alex reaching, and Michael Brantley, who's had a good game out in left field, secures it for the 2nd out. The play we're talking about back in the 8th inning with 1 out. Alex Gordon reached on a throwing error, and then Billy walked. The next batter, Keila Kaihue, hit a ground ball to first, and Matt Laporta went to second for a force out, almost threw it away, but as Asdrubal Cabrera made a great stop on a 1-hop, and everybody assumed that Billy Butler was out at second base. I mean, look at the margin here. It looked like his foot was on. It looked like his knee was on. Second base umpire Joe West called Billy safe. Billy thought he was out, so he started to head back to the dugout. The Indians then threw the ball back to Cabrera to tag Billy out. That was out number 2, but if the play goes the other way, the Royals have the bases loaded with 1 out. Billy grounds out, and game 1 goes to the Cleveland Indians. So they have won 12 of their last 14 games.